Welcome everyone to the Avengers podcast, where we talk Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and more. I'm your host Torrin, and with me is my co-host Peyton.
Hello.
Oh, sounded
Usually we'd get right into it, but it's probably best that we start off the podcast with some very unfortunate news. Sort of to get it out of the way because it's a downer. Our sort of side of the internet, this superhero fandom, has experienced one of the biggest losses we've had in a long time. And that is we have lost Kevin Conroy. He has passed away at age 66, which is way too young in 2022. Absolutely devastating. He was Batman. Like, he was the Batman, the definitive Batman. There will never be another Batman like him, I don't think, not in the same way. I don't think there ever will be a Batman like him. He just embodied the role perfectly in every aspect, in every corner, whether it was Batman the Animated Series or the Arkham games or the Justice League cartoons. He was incredible. And of course, all the people surrounding him, I mean, obviously sending all our love to them, friends, family, his Batman family, Andrea Romano, Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Mark Hamill, Tara Strong, all of them. It sucks, man. It sucks.
and like with him being the definitive role of Batman, he made a lot of people's childhoods. Like, I remember waking up on Saturday mornings, watching Batman the Animated Series, just hearing that iconic theme and hearing his voice across like so much media of Batman for so many years. He brought a joy in a lot of people's hearts, and it's quite surreal to say that he's gone.
Yeah, incredibly sudden.
Yeah, incredibly sudden too.
He had a short battle with cancer, so I hope that he knew how many people he's touched and inspired, not just as Batman, but just as a person. Because you ask anyone that's even breathed the same air as him, they'll tell you that he's the nicest guy in the world. So, yeah. I don't know how to move on from this. It's awful. Again, we wish his friends and family the best. And
Of course.
Yeah.
And may he rest in peace.
Yeah, may he rest in peace, of course. Yeah. So yeah, let's move on before this gets any sadder. We have a great show for everyone this week. We are going to be talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, of course, just came out this weekend. We're going to be, doing non-spoilers and spoilers. The time codes will be in the show notes or the description. So if you want to just jump straight to the review, you can do that. But of course, we have the news of the week. But before that, did you watch anything this week other than Black Panther?
Not really. I tried to start It's Always Sunny, and I didn't follow through. So probably today, maybe. I wanted to watch Barbarian, like before we saw Black Panther, but I didn't go through with that either. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm in a slump or like I'm just lazy, but I don't know. I really want to watch something, but I just haven't had the chance to.
That's tough. I mean, you'll get the itch eventually.
Yeah.
I watched Weird, an Al Yankovic story, which is, of course, the quote-unquote biopic of Weird Al Yankovic starring Daniel Radcliffe. And this shit was wild. If anyone doesn't know what this is, it's a Weird Al Yankovic biopic-ish because it's Weird Al Yankovic. It's a parody of biopics. So it's nothing is to be taken seriously in that film. None of it even comes close to real. I mean, maybe a couple of things like that are like maybe derived from reality, but it's not. None of it's legit. I won't say any spoilers because it just came out. But if you have a way to watch it, because it's a Roku original, which is, kind of annoying, but if you have some way to watch it, a Roku app, I'm pretty sure you can do it on your mobile device or maybe even PC. I'm not actually sure. I would highly recommend watching it because it is just a blast. It's really stupid. It's one of those movies, just really, really dumb, but it's smart in its stupidity, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is all I watched. So let's move on to the news. The Acolyte has begun production with Carrie-Anne Moss, Daphne Keane, and more joining the project. So, we got Carrie-Anne Moss, Matrix fame, and Daphne Keane, who plays X-23 in Logan. She was fantastic in Logan.
She was.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what she brings to the Star Wars universe. That's super exciting. And then this is according to Deadline. Shawn, I still don't know how to pronounce this man's last name. It's either Levi or Levy. I don't know. I'm going to say Levi. And if I'm wrong, then oh well. Shawn Levy is in talks to direct a new Star Wars film. So I imagine if he's in talks now, maybe that's going to happen maybe after he's done with Deadpool 3. I don't know, but the movies that I have seen of his, which is Real Steel, Free Guy, The Atom Project, and whenever Deadpool 3 comes out, I liked most, if not all, of his movies that I've seen. So him doing a Star Wars movie, I'm down.
Down too. Very, very solid director.
Indeed. I'm looking up what he's done. He did Night at the Museum. Oh, he did. Wow. Okay, well, I've seen more than I thought, I guess. He did The Internship at Google.
Really?
Yeah. I heard that was bad.
Oh wait, no, my fault. I got confused with The Interview.
No.
with Seth Rogen and James Franco.
No.
The movie's goated.
That is, yeah. It's probably one of the only Seth Rogen movies that I really, really like. But yeah, let's move on to some Marvel news. Daniel Kaluuya will voice Spider-Punk in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yay, let's go. Happy Brown.
Fantastic casting. Super excited to see what he brings to that. Man, Across the Spider-Verse is looking stacked. I don't remember when it comes out. I just know it's next year. I think it's March, maybe? Or May? I feel like it starts with an M, whichever the month is. But yeah, that's super cool. This next piece of news is according to Daniel RPK. It's rumored that Owen Wilson will reprise his role as Agent Mobius in Deadpool 3. He'll reportedly have a large role in the film, which is
that's pretty dope.
Very interesting. So I guess Deadpool is jumping between universes, I guess, and maybe the TVA is like, the fuck you doing, man? what are you doing? He's just wreaking havoc. Loki can't do magic and shit, but Deadpool's just wrecking shit because he's Deadpool. So that'd be fun. And also, according to Daniel RPK, it's rumored that we'll see the 2005 Fantastic Four team in Deadpool 3.
That's fucking dope.
So Deadpool 3 is sounding crazy. So I wonder, now I'm like, I guess he would. I was thinking to myself, maybe I wonder how much Wolverine will actually be there, but I guess Ryan Reynolds always described it as a road trip with them. So maybe it's a road trip across different multiverses with Wolverine. That'd be fantastic.
Imagine they both Deadpool and Wolverine time travel to the part where Reed Richards like does like the CGI face with Wolverine.
Oh.
And Wolverine's like, what the
Kills him.
right?
But yeah, that was it. That was it. That was it for the news of the week. Really short news of the week this week. Not a lot of news, but it is what it is. But, I feel like that's always the case whenever a new movie's out because that dominates the news cycle. So, which means it's time to get onto our topic, which is of course, reviewing the newly released Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We're going to be doing non-spoilers and spoilers. So, just Doran, why don't you just give us your general non-spoiler review thoughts?
So at the end of the movie, I'm kidding. I was actually really excited for this movie. A little bit more than the first one. And I can absolutely say that I loved it. The acting, and the costume design, set design, everything about this movie was wonderful. Ryan Coogler definitely gets his props for sure for being dealt with such a monumentous task of paying respects to the late Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace, while also moving forward with the character that is Black Panther. And like I said, he did such an amazing job with it. And also introducing Namor, or in this movie, Namor, the Submariner, with such a great acting from Tanaka Muerta. Like I said, this movie is such it's really good craft, really well crafted. And I think that everyone should go see it as soon as possible because this movie introduces a lot of stuff that's going to be playing into the later phases of the MCU. And I would give this movie a good 9.5, just for the looks alone, but also the performances were amazing, such as from Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, Denai Guerra, and Martin Freeman as well. But just this movie was amazing, and I truly loved it more than the first.
High praise.
Definitely.
I think it's safe to say that between the two of us, we would call the first movie overrated. I mean, we thought it was fine.
Yeah, we think it's good.
Yeah, like 7 out of 10. It's good.
Yeah,
but,
it's good.
Certainly not to the level that everyone else seems to love it. But this movie feels like what I feel about this movie is what other people felt about the first movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic, a massive step up from the first one, which just makes it all the more unfortunate that, we lost Chadwick Boseman, because even the original idea for the second movie was also great and also seemed pretty serious, I guess, because this movie, I guess, in comparison to the last two movies in a row we've gotten, is a lot more serious, even though, like, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole fan base argument, but this movie is definitely more serious, especially considering the subject matter and stuff. It pays tribute to Chadwick Boseman incredibly well, while also not being too hung up on it. Like, it's not the main plot point, you know what I mean? So it manages to pay tribute, pay respects to Chadwick, while also pushing its own story forward and pushing the MCU forward. Like you said, Ryan Coogler had an impossible task to deal with the absolute sudden death of Chadwick Boseman, completely change the script to fit that. I mean, to take characters into completely different directions than he initially was, expecting, I guess. And he nailed it. And the movie's not perfect, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I've seen other people say it, and I think they're right. I think, considering the circumstances, this is the best movie we could have gotten under the circumstances. And again, like the performances, Tenoch Muerta, it was incredible. I'm not familiar with him as an actor. And, I'm not even really familiar with Namor all that much either. And he did great. I imagine for a Namor in the MCU, he was the perfect balance of intimidating, scary, and sympathetic. But at the same time, I feel like the film with the villain falls into similar pitfalls that it did in the first one. I didn't like it as much as you. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So not that far behind. But it felt like similar to the first one with Killmonger. It's like the villain is so clearly right. So let's make part of their motivation something absolutely outlandish, so it's clear that they're a villain. So Killmonger was like, "Hey, maybe you should share your resources with the world and stuff." And it's like, yeah, he's right. maybe you should do that. But also, let's kill all the white people. and with Namor, it's like, hey, colonizers and stuff, like what they've done to my people and stuff like that. So, that's not cool. So let's just take over the entire land. Even though it's just, and it's like, it works, but it's also like, it's flawed. It's not, but at the same time, they are villains. And at the end of the day, they do have to be wrong, but it's still better than a lot of the other MCU villains. So
yeah, for sure.
It is what it is. As far as again, more performances, Angela Bassett was incredible. Letitia Wright, my thoughts about her as a person aside, she knocked it out of the park with this. Really impressed me, to be honest. Riri Williams, the inclusion of her, played by Dominic Thorne, was incredible. We had our worries about Ironheart, still some worries, because this wasn't her movie, this isn't her series. So, but she didn't do anything stupid. she didn't make any dumb decisions. So I'm pretty happy about that. I see some people complaining about the how exactly this battle between Talokan and Wakanda came about, but some people calling it very petty. But also that's just kind of how wars are. So that tracked for me. Of course, Everett Ross is in this, played by Martin Freeman. He was great. Torn and I talked about it a little bit, off air. But we see some people saying that Everett Ross's inclusion and Riri Williams' inclusion felt shoehorned in. I can't speak for Thorne, but for me, I disagree. I can see not Riri Williams. I thought her inclusion felt very natural, but with Everett Ross, I can kind of understand. I can't get into part of the reason why, because it's a spoiler, but I thought it was fine. Certain plot elements, it just makes sense for him to be there. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Was it about the shoehorned in stuff?
No, it wasn't about the shoehorned in stuff. Dang, I forgot. It'll come back to me whenever.
All right.
I think about it.
Well, that was our non-spoiler section. So let's move on to spoilers. I can't believe Doctor Doom was in this shit, man. That's crazy.
Right.
No, but the beginning of the movie, they hit you immediately. They just, you sit down, the movie starts, and they punch you right in the face. They did exactly what I hoped they would do, which is essentially give T'Challa exactly what we got in real life. T'Challa clearly has an illness. They never specify what, which makes sense. And of course it's very sudden. Everything about it is true to what we experienced with Chadwick in real life. So that was great in a sad way. Everyone in this scene was firing off on all cylinders, especially Letitia Wright, desperately trying to find a cure through the plant or whatever that she can't replicate because Killmonger burned them all. Yeah, this opening was just a gut punch. And then of course the intro starts and it's the Chadwick Boseman version of the intro, just completely silent. And I'm like, just starting off crazy. So yeah, then there was a time jump 1 year later, which means the film takes place in what? Because he had to come back, so it's at least 2024, and then there's a year jump. But how long? When did he?
Okay, because like, of course, Endgame takes place in 2023.
All right, 2023. That's right.
Because Endgame takes place in 2023. So that means he must have died, within like 2024, I'm assuming the funeral takes place like 2024.
Sure, but then there's a year jump, so the bulk of the movie takes place in 2025.
2025, yeah.
Okay. So it's 2025 now, and things are okay, I guess. It's mostly fine. They're all sad, or Shuri was all sad, and they go to that lake.
Yeah, they all go to that lake, and then there's just a certain ritual that has to be done because it's kind of like a passing, you're remembering someone's passing, and of course Shuri being Shuri, she doesn't really believe in rituals and everything. She's more of a logical person and believes in science and everything instead of the spiritual stuff. And that's when they come across Namor, and Namor's like, hey, I kind of need Wakanda's help. Or because they're finding vibranium, and they're all like, well, how the fuck does vibranium exist outside of Wakanda and shit like that. But of course, before that, the military found the machine underwater, that found vibranium. But of course, that was in territory of Namor and his people.
Yeah, and so the Talokan people attack the boat, and I'm pretty sure that lady that was there, the head scientist, I guess, whoever that was, I think that's Lake Bell, who plays Poison Ivy in the Harley Quinn show, and also Black Widow in What If. I'm pretty sure that was her. She's in the cast, but I'm pretty sure that was her. But yeah, that sequence was really cool. With all the I keep wanting to say Atlanteans. With all the Talokan people attacking the government. That was fun. And then we have that, there was that beautiful sequence where Angela Bassett, the fuck is her character's name?
Rwanda.
Yeah, Rwanda. She's at the
UN.
Yeah, the UN, and they're basically like, hey, I thought you were going to share your shit with us. And then she's like, the audacity of you people. And of course it's intercut with an attack on Wakanda trying to get their resources and whatnot. And of course they get fucking fried by the Dora Milaje, which was a really sick sequence. And, they bring the guys in as a fucking mic drop. That was sick. She was like, try us. She was like, come at us, see what happens. That was really, really good. I was surprised by the way I almost said Atlanteans again, the Talokan people, the way they talk underwater, it's normal, but it's not it wasn't like Aquaman.
Yeah.
Where it was just normal. There was it was slowed down a little bit.
Mm.
I thought that was really cool. And the whole city looked great.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really beautiful.
Maybe a little dark. At some points I was like, I don't know, can I see this? I don't know if I can see this. All that stuff was great. And then the movie really kicks into gear when I keep wanting to say Atlantis. I can't get over it. when Talokan attack, but before that, they try to get Riri Williams, because Riri Williams is a person that built the vibranium detector or whatever, but she didn't realize it was going to be used for government purposes. She just did it for some school thing, and I guess the government got a hold of it because they were like, ooh, tech for us. But before that, Shuri like infiltrates the school, and when she knocks on Riri Williams' door, she goes, yo, is this Riri Williams or whatever? I don't remember what she said, but she does it in an American accent, which was fucking hilarious. That whole sequence was great with Shuri.
That code switch.
Yeah. With Shuri and Okoye, right? That was Okoye?
Yeah, Okoye.
Yeah, that was great. And how Riri Williams insulted her makeup and stuff, and she's all self-conscious about it. That was great stuff.
And like, you know, of course, she was attacking, or Riri was attacking Okoye with like stuff, and she was like, oh, you know, like your fancy heater and shit like that. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, which is not of course, but like she was like, oh, you with your heater, good luck beating Namor with that. And then they beat Namor with a heater.
Yeah. I also wanted to say, you know, I feel like the most of the complaints going around with, you know, like, I think it's what I wanted to say earlier, is that like the complaints of, you know, just Phase 4 in general, up to the T, about like how, you know, there's not enough seriousness and there's like a lot of like jokes. The humor in this movie was, I think it's like, you know, pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
Because like, of course, you know, this is being a more emotional movie and a more serious movie. The comedic tones, like, it felt, I'm not saying before it felt forced, but like the dialogue in this movie, what I liked the most, it felt very natural. And so I feel like, yeah, the comedy and humor was, you know, very, very, very well executed in this movie.
I agree. We get that fight between the FBI and Shuri, Riri, and Okoye, which is great. Of course, she puts on her prototype Iron Man suit, and the guy goes, oh shit, she got an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
That was really good. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure she killed a bunch of people. It's cool though. Iron Man style.
Right. I mean,
Okoye is being a badass as usual. And then of course the Talokan people attack, and oh man, I thought Okoye was gonna die. I was so scared. I was worried. I was worried for her life. But of course they take Riri Williams and Shuri after they friggin' blast Okoye into the water. Shuri goes to protect Riri, and they both get taken to Talokan. And at Talokan, you know, Namor's there, and he tries to explain everything to Shuri, and he explains his backstory and stuff. They eat that plant or whatever. They drink the plant, and then they turn blue, but then they're not blue. Do you know what?
Yes. So I feel like that's what I noticed in the in the movie. They can like definitely change like their look, because I know in some parts, like when they're underwater, they're like regular people, and like when they're in the surface world, they're blue, but then they can also be blue underwater as well.
It also seemed like maybe like the warriors were blue, and maybe the regular people aren't. It seems random. I don't know. I felt like that they should have maybe made all of them blue, and then because Namor is like not
like, yeah, he's not fully like that. He's like he could be like,
he has regular skin. Normal. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they should have just picked one over the other and went with it, but I don't know. It just seemed random. I don't know. But it's not. That's a nitpick. I'm not like too bothered by that. But yeah, his backstory was really, really good. Of course, like back in Aztec times or whatever, and they lived in the water, and then they came back to bury his mom, but then she was taken over by colonizers and stuff, and they slaughtered them all, as they should. I said, yeah, yeah, kill them, get them all. So clearly on that level, I imagine Namor is not only trying to be sympathetic, which he was, but also sort of appeasing to Shuri, and sort of like explaining where he's coming from. But all of that, I was like, because he was trying to justify killing Riri. He's like, we got to kill the scientists because, you know, all the look what the foreigners did to our place or whatever. But I'm like, that ain't no reason to kill her though. Like, sure, it could have been like, look, she made the thing, but like, she wasn't behind using it. Like, I mean, I think there was ways around that that could have been very easily avoided, but is what it is. Obviously, Angela Bassett's character, Rwanda, is really upset about Shuri missing. She strips Okoye of general status from the Dora Milaje, which sucks. That's horrible. And then she goes to Nakia to help get Shuri back because she's a spy, or she was a spy for Wakanda. And she goes and finds Shuri and Riri, and in the process kills two Talokan people, which of course, you know, in, like I was alluding to earlier, how people were complaining about how, you know, maybe it felt a little petty. I mean, I feel like this is the part that checks out, because it's like, they don't know, as far as they understand, they just took Shuri and Riri. And so to the Wakandans, it's like, okay, that's an act of aggression. But of course, to the Talokan people, that's not an act of aggression, but now they killed two of their people. So now it's real serious. Now that's a huge act of aggression. So they bring Shuri and Riri back to Wakanda, and then the Talokan people full on attack Wakanda. I mean, when Nakia was talking to Okoye,
Yeah.
And the water was like creeping in, I was like, oh shit. Here we go.
Then everything just starts exploding.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about freaking M'Baku. Bro was
M'Baku had some of the most like critical dialogue in the movie.
Yeah.
Very, very, very important.
And the funniest.
Yeah, for sure.
But so yeah, everything started to get destroyed by the Talokan people, and yeah, Namor was just wrecking shit, man.
I know, he was like, he was Euro stepping in midair, destroying everything.
This was my favorite action sequence in the movie.
All that one?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. And also, I love how they showcased his strength with the slow motion when he like hits M'Baku's chest plate.
Yeah.
That was great.
I was afraid he was going to die too at some point.
I know. The slow motion sequences were really, really well in this movie.
Yeah. And of course, we get the part where Rwanda dies trying to save Riri by the hands of Namor. And he's a fucking menace. This entire sequence, him just obviously, drowning her, and then all the people coming in to help them, and that all of that was emotional in its own right. And then I forgot exactly what he said, but I do know he said, like, to Shuri, like, you are queen now, and fucking flies. I'm like, God damn, that's cold. Jesus. Like, oh. And of course, like, everything about that was just perfectly done, in my opinion. That whole sequence was incredible.
Definitely.
And then, of course, because what did Namor think it was really going to get out of that, right? But because now Shuri's real pissed, and pretty much at this point she decides, okay, I got to do the Black Panther thing now. And she also doesn't, I don't know if she necessarily denies it, but she's not queen. I guess technically, like, through like bloodline, she's the rightful heir to the throne, but she doesn't accept it. Which we sort of see at the end of the movie, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But she goes to become the Black Panther. She tries to figure out the plant thing, because Namor gave her a bracelet which has traces of the vibranium laced plant, I guess, on it. So she was able to recreate the heart-shaped herb, and of course she takes it with Nakia and Riri, and she goes to the ancestral plane, and who does she see?
She sees our boy Killmonger,
The boy with long hair.
and all right,
Looked good.
definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I think most people at this point were probably expecting Angela Bassett's character. He was a big surprise. I was not expecting to see him in this at all.
Right?
I don't think there was even a rumor. I don't think. I'm sure there's a leak or something that I didn't see, but
good thing they kept that under wraps very, very well.
yeah. Yeah, this whole sequence was great. Her trying to like be against him, and yet, you know, he made some good points that she and her are a lot more alike than she would like to let on. And usually it's like when a villain's like, we're a lot alike, you and I. It's like it's really cliche, but in this case, it works because in a lot of cases it is true. She's fighting with her emotions. She's very blunt. She's willing to do the things that a noble king or queen like T'Challa wouldn't do. And he even calls he's even like T'Chaka was too, I don't remember his exact wording, but like the fact that he's willing to like kill his own brother and stuff like that. He's not he wasn't necessarily the best king, and he said T'Challa was too noble. How he wouldn't do enough, and so and he was saying that he was the only one who was willing to do what needed to be done, and he basically told Shuri that you need to do the same thing. And so she takes that advice and goes, you know, she's Black Panther now. She goes to M'Baku and in the Black Panther suit, and they're like, "Ooh, Black Panther lives." And you know, M'Baku does his thing. is they call him Kul Khan, the Feather Serpent King, that just bounces around in my head constantly. I cannot hear it. They do not call him General or King. They call him Kul Khan. Anyway, her and M'Baku talk, you know, of what's the right way to go about this if they need to fight him at all and whatnot. And of course they decide to go fight him. But meanwhile, the Wakandans are essentially being framed for a lot of the attacks that the Talokan people have been dishing out. And of course we see Everett Ross, who apparently was married to frickin' Val. That was a huge surprise.
I actually liked Valentina a lot in this than I was expecting.
I did too. We knew she was going to be in this due to some set photos, and I thought it was going to be like maybe a credit scene or something like that. I thought I saw some people saying like there was a lot of annoying like setup for future stuff in this movie, but I didn't get that at all, especially from this. I think this is mainly what people were talking about with that kind of complaint. But like Everett Ross is going to be in Secret Invasion, but nothing in this even comes close to any Secret Invasion anything. And Val is very Thunderbolts focused, but nothing about her part in this plays anything into Thunderbolts other than her being maybe like a more prominent like government or military or whatever agency she's a part with, official. Like it's not some underground thing. So maybe I guess that, but I don't know. Whatever. To me, it didn't feel like set up for anything other than that these characters are here and they're married, or they were married. But yeah, I thought they were great. They played a relatively small part, but I didn't feel like they were shoehorned in.
And then this in the third act happens, not happens, but we get further into the third act with what looked like the Titanic in the sea. Yeah,
I saw some people complain about like how it was dumb of the Wakandans to attack the Talokan people on a boat in their you know, their turf, but the whole point of that was to lure them by making it seem like Namor. Yeah, to get Namor, and to lure them by making it seem like there was another one of those devices which would only make sense in the water, and they were using the sound waves to deter them while Shuri gets Namor. So, and the plan worked anyway, but although at the end when they were done and there was a ridiculous amount of telecom, I mean, they were going to die if it went on any longer. But I guess they also weren't expecting them to destroy the sound thing. But yeah, that whole fight was really, really good. We got Riri Williams in her sleek armor. I thought it looked great. I saw some people complaining about it. I don't know what there is to complain about, to be honest. I thought it looked awesome. She was wrecking shit. I mean, M'Baku Okoye, whatever her name is, they were wrecking shit as what are they called? What do they call them? Something Guardians, I think.
What?
The suits thing they had on to like.
Oh, the Midnight Warriors?
Yes. That's it. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you agree that the suits looked ugly?
I mean, they're fine. I mean, of course, there's always gonna be better armor, better designs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're fine. I like the color scheme though. That little teal blue.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Like gold accents and stuff. Yeah. It's good. And of course, we get Shuri trapping Namor inside the ship. And they blast him with heat and stuff to dry him out, to make him weaker. And he blows up the ship. And then they land in the desert. And they have their fight in which Namor almost wins. Now, my question to you is, was Namor beat too easily?
No. I mean, they literally explain it in the movie how like he's literally half human. So he's going to, when he's not in water long enough, he's going to have, human like tendencies, to want water and to like sweat. I don't think he was beat too easily. I mean, he's going up against Shuri after all, who like is smarter than Namor and everything else, but I don't think that he was beat too easily when the plan was literally explained to them in the movie all along. And it worked. So
fair enough. The fight here was great. Obviously, a massive step up from the third act fight in the first Black Panther. It felt very Spider-Man 1.
Yeah,
very quiet and just brutal brawl. Shuri got shanked. That was great.
yeah, she got stabbed hard.
Yeah, and then she pulled herself off the thing, which was gross. And then, she ripped off his fucking wing.
Yeah,
I was like, damn. But of course, Shuri gets the upper hand, and he almost kills him. But then she gets a vision from Rwanda, telling her like, hey, don't do that. She was like, all right. And they basically have an alliance,
Yeah, they basically have an alliance.
Which was Namor's goal all along. So in a way he won. So it's like, I feel like in that sort of final sequence with Namor and that one soldier or whatever was like, I never thought you'd kneel. And he was like, I mean, I technically got what I wanted. I felt like it was both like in the end, I got what I wanted, not in the way I wanted, but it's still kind of humiliating. It's not like, I don't think he lost on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, basically he was like saying like, she showed me empathy, which was like fine. And it's like, Talakon's going to be stronger with Wakanda's help. Like, and they need us. We're always going to be there. So, I mean, it works out in the end.
Indeed it does. But yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of the main movie. I mean, obviously there's stuff towards the end, but yeah, so that's pretty much all that. Obviously Wakanda ends up on top.
Even though Wakanda got fucking nerfed hard in this movie.
Yeah.
It was crazy. They got nerfed hard. But of course, it works in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can also explain it by, T'Challa's not there. They don't really have that kind of leader anymore.
Yeah, they don't have a leader that much. So yeah, like, after that, there's a kind kind of like what the reminiscent of the first Black Panther, with the challenge at the waterfall. But Shuri doesn't show up because, of course, she doesn't want to become like the leader, and so M'Baku challenges everyone, any other clan, to be the protector of Wakanda.
Which means he'll probably win, which means he'll probably be king of Wakanda.
Yeah.
Which I'm down.
Something he wanted. He wanted that for the first Black Panther.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I trust him.
I trust him as well, because he has shown lots of character development in this one movie alone. And the first movie as well.
Yeah.
So we go back to, of course, Shuri and Riri. They, of course, they're friends. Shuri rebuilds Riri's dad's. I forgot which car that is. I know it's like a 70s like Charger or Challenger. I
have no idea.
Look, I don't remember right now. I all I know is that it was black and red, my two favorite colors.
She can't take the suit with her.
Yeah, of course she can't just suit with her because that's property. But of course, she's always gonna make another one for her show. Probably a little bit more comic accurate, but we'll see how that looks. And so Shuri goes to Haiti to visit Nakia, and she is going to do the ritual like with like how Rwanda did in the beginning of the movie, but of course she wants to do it alone. And then we get cut with the flashbacks and like a montage of Chadwick Boseman.
Pain.
Yeah, that fucking hit hard.
Pain.
I know that Ryan Coogler was smiling and crying. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna attack them with emotional pain, but I'm also crying along with them." So yeah, we get hit with that sleek little montage, and of course we get a surprise.
Pretty big one.
Yeah, pretty big one.
One I certainly wasn't expecting.
And of course, during during the events or after Endgame for sure. Or actually, it was before Endgame. Somewhere in between the lines, Nakia has a kid with T'Challa.
Well, that kid's got to be like...
That kid's like 6.
Yeah.
Definitely probably 6 or 7.
So she was probably pregnant during Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then she dipped.
Yeah, she dipped to Haiti.
Right. Yeah, that checks out. That checks out.
And then Nakia tells Shuri that there's a reason why she didn't go back to Wakanda, is because they had a ceremony here is in Haiti for him, because he knew that he was like he knew he was gonna die, and they wanted to plan something for him. And of course, she brings out the kid, and the kid is Prince T'Challa II.
Incredible. I feel like this should appease, but probably won't appease the recast T'Challa crowd, because I feel like this is the best of both worlds, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we can still have Chadwick's T'Challa, we can put on that pedestal, and we can still have another T'Challa it's still T'Challa, but it's still not the same T'Challa, so that that legacy can't be tainted,
Yeah.
I think this works.
It works, yeah. And you know how time is, like in 2 years the kid's gonna be like 18, so
True. In Kang Dynasty we have another time jump or something.
Yeah, so yeah, it works out. So it's gonna work out. But yeah, like that's the end of the movie. There's no post-credit scene. And that was a mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
But
so the fact that Doctor Doom wasn't in this, though,
yeah, it makes it a 1 out of 10.
Huge disappointment.
There was only one cameo in the movie, and that wasn't even enough.
Yeah, and it's like he's tied to the Black Panther crew, so who cares?
Why didn't we get to see Latveria, which was supposed to be old Sokovia?
Exactly.
So weird.
They didn't even mention it.
Right. Such a bad movie.
MCU's going downhill. They peaked at Endgame.
Right. But But overall, like this, yeah, this movie was just wonderful. Definitely was just wonderful.
Agreed. I definitely need to rewatch it.
I definitely need to rewatch it as well.
It's a long movie.
Yeah, for how long the movie is, it definitely felt very short. But overall, like, yeah, this movie was just great. I that's really all I have to say. Like, I mean, I can say it's great. That's all I can say. It's great 1,000 times over. But I mean, like I said, like this movie is definitely like very crafted beautifully, and Ryan Coogler definitely deserves like his props.
Yeah,
for what he had to do.
Great film. It'll probably win an Oscar for best costume design again. Because sure. I mean, yeah, everyone was dripped out in this. I mean, people were dripped out in the first one, but this one, whoa, people were dripped out crazy.
Seriously.
Of course, Ludwig Göransson, whatever, his score again, just incredible. I think it's the Dora Milaje theme, the whoop whoop whoop, that thing.
Yeah,
great. I love it every time it comes on. It's sick. Yeah, I think that's everything. Just overall, great movie. Will it get a Best Picture nomination like it did the first time? Probably
not. No. Overall, yeah, the cinematography was great.
Yeah, the Marvel Studios seem to be stepping up their cinematography game, which they've needed to for a bit now.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that the show?
That is.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to the Avengenerds podcast. If you want to follow us, we're at Avengenerds on Twitter. That's AVENGE nerds, all one word. We're also on Mastodon if Twitter implodes. So if you want to follow us there, you can do that. If you want to follow either one of us, you can reach me at @Zenith_ on Twitter. Where can they reach you?
Nowhere. Just follow our social medias.
Yes. You could also go to our Discord if you want to join the conversation there. All of those will be linked in the description or the show notes. You can also check out our link tree for any additional links you may be interested in. You can also review the show in-app on Apple Podcasts. If you leave 5 stars in a review, it would really help us out. Thanks again for listening to the Avengenerds podcast. We'll see you next week with a Phase 4 ranking.
Later.